Okay, welcome to Borak Bursa, where we talk about anything Malaysian financial related. I have here on my right, Chuck.
Go ahead.
Happy New Year to everybody here. Chuck is going to be representing the average person who maybe has a little bit of knowledge on finance, maybe not too much, and curious and have questions. Okay. Right in front of me, I've got Andrew here, who is going to be our crypto seafood. So he's going to talk about anything crypto. And yeah, let's begin.
Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, Mom, yes, I'm average. I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, I'm here to represent your opinions. So we've been kind of like going to Alvin's TikTok and then trying to find out like what you guys are thinking about, what you guys are curious about, and we've compiled some topics lah that we want to talk about lah. So I think one of the first topics that we want to talk about is the craziness that's been happening in Bursa for the last 2 or 3 days. So this is literally a screen cap from Google that we caught. Basically, what I see here is a red line going down and then a green line going up, and then the green line got two animals there. One looks like a cow, and then the other one looks like a bear. Can you guys explain what the hell's going on here?
So in stock market terms, actually I don't even know. Actually, in stock market, they like to use a lot of animals for some reason. But in this particular case, a bear and a bull.
Yeah.
A bear represents clawing the market down, and a bull represents the bull charging it up. So that's what it means.
So what happened?
You know, this is the thing about news, right? And that's why I don't read news headlines or news, because on one hand, they tell you the market is moving up, and on the other hand, they tell you the market's coming down. So if you ask me, this is like normal, right? I think maybe some of the news outlets have already, pre-done this ahead of time. The articles are written, they just fill in the numbers, and then they have something to publish, right?
So it's just news cycle stuff lah. Every week you'll see this, is it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's what is up or down, because it doesn't take a lot for market to move up or to move down, right?
Right.
Every day there will be movement. So if maybe you have 3 green, and again, depending on what you use as a definition of green, right? So in most cases, they use what we call an index, used to measure like the temperature or barometer of the stock market.
Yeah.
So if it's green, then they say, yeah, market's up. If it's red, then market's down. But overall, if you look at it on a longer term basis, our index, the FPM KLCI, has been relatively flat.
So like Andrew, you had no reaction to this when you saw this in the news?
Not really. I don't really look at it too much. It doesn't really affect me too much. So, nope.
Okay. Is this like a record high or a record low or something, or not? Like historically, or you guys don't even know because you didn't even read the news?
I don't look at the market every day. As an investor, you don't need to look at the market every day.
Okay.
So,
as an investor, you don't need to look at the market every day.
Yeah, stock prices, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
How often should you be looking at it then?
I don't know, once a month, once a week at best.
Wow.
Yeah, so because these are just daily movements, right? Because the more you look at prices, the more it gets you emotional. And when it gets you emotional, typically that's where you decide to buy or sell. So you want to be kind of removed from the emotion. So indirectly, I'm disciplining myself to not get emotional. So I just don't look at something. It's like, an ostrich sticking your head in the sand.
So how often do you guys check the prices?
Actually, just continuing on Alvin's point there, it's quite interesting because when you think of investing, you think of, okay, I need to know this metric or that metric. I will learn accounting and all that. But a lot of it has to do with non-financial stuff, which is your emotions, managing your personal emotions. When the market goes up, you'll see the majority of people chasing it up because they start to FOMO. When it comes down, everyone gets scared and then they just want to sell and just never look at it again. And then they'll come back again when the market's going up, and then they'll chase it up again. So the whole the old adage of buy low, sell high, it's easier said than done because most people are emotionally charged. They tend to buy high, sell low. That's quite typical.
Okay. So then, is there a thing where, so this article, for instance, says that when the market goes up, people sell, and thus that drives the market back down. That's my understanding of it as a layman. Like, is that the right understanding, or? Like that's why it kind of moderates itself, I guess.
Say again?
Like, okay, so basically when the market goes up, then people profit take, lah, right? They sell high, like you said, right? Buy low, sell high, right? So when they sell high, then it dips back again because everyone's selling at that point in time. Is that how the market moderates itself in this case?
In the short term, yeah, you can say that. So every time a price finds a new level, you're gonna find buyers and sellers. So when there's more sellers than buyers, then the price will come down, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then also the other thing is like this photo, right? As the stock market, how come there's only one person inside? Like, usually you see on Wall Street got a lot of people throwing like paper into the air and all that kind of thing, but this one only got like one fella there, like sitting lonely.
The thing about the Malaysian market, you can see it, right? If you zoom in, right, you can see it's actually RHB Investment Bank in the background. That's really only one trading hall of this setup in Malaysia, and that's on I can't remember, is it Jalan Tun Razak or the RHB, the place where a lot of jam one before it's right.
The whole of KL, basically.
Yeah. So that's where they are at, and I know this was built probably in the early 2000s or slightly before that, and back then it was state of the art.
Back then it was what? Sorry?
State of the art.
Okay.
State of it was like high tech stuff.
Yeah.
And
now it looks like very tech,
Now it looks a bit dated lah. But for them to install those screens, those days it was a lot of money. Right. And what you see is actually what we call a why it's built that way. You look at the seats on the back, and on the front is actually to mimic the open cry system. So that's how the stock market used to work before there were computers. I mean, someone will shout, well, someone wants to sell, but I say we'll stop from there. Someone wants to sell one stock, then the guy say, yeah, well, I'll take it, buy it. And that's how owners will match. And that's why it's called an open pit lah. They call it pit.
Yeah. But that doesn't happen anymore, really. Like, everyone's at home on their phones or whatever, right?
All that is just.
So then who sits there? Nobody.
I think some dealers or some revisors still sit there.
For what?
When the clients call them, I say make a trade.
But they can make it online also, right?
Yeah, but some people like service, right? So they don't want to. So if you're not used to, you got fat fingers or you might key wrongly, right? So you can see, then you get a revisor to help you key your order. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, so then, I mean, just from what my friends are talking about right now, it's all about the ringgit, right? Ringgit is dropping new low lah. We hear it all the time. Is this something that you guys are worried about?
Not really.
You spent some time in Australia, right? Then you migrated back here.
Yeah.
Got regret?
Yeah. No, I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aussie currency, no regret.
I think if you look at the AUD to MYR, it hasn't changed. It's pretty much flat.
Okay. And Aussie dollar depreciated the same amount as the US dollar.
Okay, so really it's just against the USD and it's against the SGD. Because the SGD kind of tries to mimic the USD.
Yeah.
Because they control their currency. So
we got a question about that later also.
So it doesn't really matter, and plus as an individual, as an investor, you can always spread your bets, right? I mean, obviously not now, but you should not just put all your eggs in one basket, right? Where you can hold a few different currencies, right? So really, if say you had 30% of your cash 30% USD, then that portion of it is up while your ringgit is down, and you might have some Sing dollars or whatever, because it's pretty close. It's our neighbor. You can go for holidays, so you might want to.
But long term wise, like the pattern has been SGD has been going up on stop against the ringgit, right? So by that token, is it wise for someone to look at this pattern and go like, I should have put my ringgit. I should have converted my ringgit to SGD a long time ago, and I would see gains already. Right? And people are thinking of doing it now.
Yeah, but you live in this country, you use ringgit, for your daily expenses. So if you need the ringgit, then you.
So keep a minimum amount, is it, or what?
I don't think it was in the long term. I think it was since since the Federal Reserve started increasing interest rates, I think it was around that time when the ringgit against the USD and the ringgit against the SGD kind of fluctuated.
Right.
Yeah, but I think before that it was less. And as mentioned before, it's because Singapore tries to they control the currency. So
Okay. We'll get into Singapore a little bit more, but right now, a lot of my friends. Sorry. Okay.
Go ahead.
A lot of my friends. We've talked about this for many years already. There's not a single, at least Chinese parent out there that has not told their kids to migrate at some point in time. And what do you guys feel about that kind of sentiment? Because right now we're talking about it again. Every time the ringgit goes down, we talk about migrating. We talk about let's go to a different country where we can earn a stronger currency, stuff like that. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think every time ringgit weakens against USD, we're like, oh shit, that's our problem. Like we are the source of the problem. Normally we don't think that, or maybe the USD is strengthening against us.
Right.
I think that seems to be that Malaysia brand that we have of ourselves somehow. Something external is always better than internal.
So we always blame ourselves.
Yeah, but ironically, we do. We think that we're bad. But if you look at the rationale is weak currency, bad country, right? That's the rationale.
Yeah.
But if you look at China in the last 30 years, they've always managed their renminbi to the US, and they have registered the strongest economic growth in the last 2 or 3 decades globally, and they had a weak currency, right? So the question is why, right? Because they are export oriented. So their weak currency, they are export oriented, things look cheaper, right? And US has always said that the yuan is always managed, or it's too undervalued because they keep it undervalued.
Yeah.
Because you can, 2 things happen, right? You strengthen your own local currency, everything from people from outside looking in, everything has gone up more expensive.
Okay.
Right? Versus if you have a weaker currency, people looking and say, oh, everything is cheaper, right? Okay. So there's no right or wrong answer here, but
Sorry, just channeling my inner self-deprecating Malaysian, right? Why does it feel like when China does it, it's intentional, when Malaysia does it, it's not intentional?
that's why. No, because we are absolutely an export country. We're an export
But do you think it's intentional that, oh yes, our government is thinking, I think we should lower our currency value so that we can increase our
I don't think so much it was intentional. I think it's largely driven by market forces. But what Andrew has managed, Andrew spoke about, Singapore runs a very different foreign exchange policy. They manage their exchange rate, right? It's not free floating supply and demand.
Oh, this actually is the next slide, I think.
Yeah.
No, this one. I'll go forward a bit. This one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is actually from your TikTok lah, right? So like, why people are saying why are we constantly sliding against Singapore?
Yeah. So if the Singapore government or MAS decides, or the Central Bank of Singapore decides, hey, you know what, I need to be maybe on parity with the US dollar 80% or 70% of the time.
Yeah.
They manage that, because we have to understand, right? Singapore is from very early on, 30 years ago, they decided, look, we're not going to fight on manufacturing. We can't fight on that. We don't have land. We don't have resources. So it has to be a service thing. So you want to attract talent, you must have a strong currency.
Yes.
Right? Then full stop, right? So the higher the SGD, people want to move to Singapore. They say, I earn Sing dollars. That's okay, right?
Yeah.
But we are not in the same space as Singapore, right? We do have land. We do have resources. We are very much industrialized. We are into manufacturing. We're an export nation. We produce goods and services, or more goods and services.
Yeah.
So in a way, the weaker currency does help us, right? Appear to look cheaper than other countries.
So I want to go back to your original question, or the earlier question, and you said, all these Chinese parents asking their kids to, go migrate overseas and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I lived overseas for 11 years, and then I chose to come back. And I will tell you that life in Malaysia is a lot better than it was. Just the quality of life over there. For example, if my tap was leaking and I needed a plumber, I'll ring the plumber, make an appointment. The plumber will come out, and just to come out and not do anything, 250 Aussie dollars. So it's about 750 ringgit to do nothing. Now, if you had to do something plus parts and plus additional hours, then that's plus plus.
So in Malaysia, it's like
Malaysia is
10% of that, 20% of that. Whatever.
Malaysia's nice. I mean, Malaysia is
It's
great.
nice if you're not a plumber. Like.
A lot of yeah.
No, we have a lot more plumbers here than we have in Australia.
Really?
I'm just joking.
A lot of people, dish out dirt on Malaysia, but Malaysia is a fantastic place to live. It's
Agreed.
Great
Agreed.
quality of life. You can get whatever you want here as you could over there. So I think it's that mentality of the grass is always greener on the other side, until you get there, and then the grass is greener on the other side.
I think, for example, right, probably the largest economy in the world today, which us Malaysians find it very alien, right? That healthcare is not universal. If you're in the US today and you had an accident and you had no health insurance, you are left to die. What we take for granted here, an ambulance will come and will take me to the closest general hospital. As long as I'm Malaysian, they will treat me. Am I right?
To a certain extent, yes.
So how is that more developed than here? I don't understand that. And of course, accidents do happen. We wish it never happens to us, but that's very basic, right? Healthcare.
Yeah. A lot of people are asking about investing in Singapore. So what are your thoughts on that? Andrew, maybe you can go first. Like, is it a good time to go and invest in Singapore now?
I'll probably skip that one. I'll go to the next one about opening a bank account in Singapore. I think it was I can't remember which year it was, but now I think you cannot open a bank account in Singapore unless you had a PR or you had a work permit or some reason to be in Singapore.
Right.
So you can't. What is this thing called Wise? Have you seen the green card?
The credit card thingy. Yeah.
So on there you can have a Singapore dollar denominated account right next to your Malaysian ringgit. So if you wanted Sing dollars and you want to keep Sing dollars, then that's probably your route to go to. So I think the answer is no, but there are alternatives like Wise.
Okay.
So actually, interestingly, in crypto, there's an MAS approved
Stablecoin.
stablecoin which is XSGD. So meaning you hold the Singapore dollar equivalent in crypto format. So you could go through that as well.
I think Wise limits you to 20K or something like that.
Yeah,
USD?
There's some limit.
There's a limit of how much you can hold in your Wise wallet.
Is it in USD or?
Depends on where you are domiciled. That means if you're from Malaysian, then
Then rupiah then die already lah.
20,000 ringgit lah. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So is it actually a good time to invest in Singapore right now or not? Okay.
So everyone always asks me, is it a good time to invest now? And you can work on all the empirical evidence, right?
Yeah.
Nothing points to this being correct, even though this is the wrong question to start with, right? So
what's the right question?
Is how long should I stay invested? Right? It's not time to get in because you're timing the market. It's not about timing the market. It's about time in market. That matters if you want to grow your wealth over time, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're trading, but really, if you're investing over long term, there's no wrong time. The question is, how long are you willing to stay there? And of course, what does the future look like? I think that's a better question, because every time, is it the right time to get in? But who are you gonna ask? Is it the right time to get out? Right. So we are very biased when we ask these questions, right? In our mind, we're very biased. We think of the in, we think of timing the market. We're not thinking of how long we want to be there, or how do I know when's the right time to exit?
Okay, next one. Obviously, Andrew, this is your area of specialty. The news has been basically full of Bitcoin's sudden explosion recently.
Yes.
It's since the start of the year, right? It's been showing signs of doing this already.
Look, it's been coming up for a while, since November or December 2022. Since then, it crashed to almost 15K or just above 15.
Yeah.
And since then, it's kind of gone up to where it is now, 50-ish, 50, and I think the top was 53. So what happened in November 2022 was the whole FTX saga.
Okay.
Fraud thing, and then the whole crypto world was shaken.
Yeah.
And so everything kind of crashed.
Okay. Yes.
And so the low for Bitcoin was around there, around
15K.
November.
And then that was November 2022. So what happened in the whole 2023?
I think it was around. Yeah, I think it was around there.
This TLDR 2023 for Bitcoin for me.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened is 11 ETFs were approved by the SEC. Now,
What is the ETF?
what is an ETF? ETF stands for an exchange traded fund.
Okay.
So it's effectively you get to buy shares, and it is structured under a company which then owns the underlying asset. So in this case, the underlying asset is Bitcoin. It's a digital asset.
Okay.
And so then you sell, then the shares are available on the stock market.
Okay.
Which you can then use traditional rails. So if you had a stockbroking account, you had an E-Trade or Ameritrade or whatever stockbroking account, you could just buy Bitcoin ETF shares, which represents X amount of Bitcoin per share. So effectively, you could just, if you had an existing broking account, you could just log on to your broking account, pump money in there, and buy the Bitcoin ETF shares.
Yeah.
And you would have exposure to Bitcoin in your portfolio.
I don't know anybody personally in my circles, except for maybe the two of you, that has made any sort of crypto investments in the last 1 year. Whereas prior to that, there were so many.
You see the potential right there?
Huh?
You see that potential right there?
You can call it potential, but you can call it as has its time passed already? Because remember, we were talking about this before. When we talk about AI, okay? AI is a new buzzword, right? It's kind of overtaken crypto as a buzzword. Now I think we can kind of agree on that. So when we talk about AI, everyone I know is using AI to some degree to improve their lives. You know, whether you're using ChatGPT, Midjourney, or whatever, everyone is kind of experiencing it. The same can't be said of crypto. There's no crypto in my fridge. I don't use crypto for work.
Yep.
You know, I don't use any sort of blockchain technologies for work. So now that the interest is kind of passed on, I guess to me, what I find curious is where's all this money coming from that's pushing the price up? If it's not from average people like me.
Well, so these Bitcoin ETF shares are actually available on the Nasdaq.
Yeah.
So I would assume, and the Nasdaq and the New York Stock Exchange would be the world stock exchange, right? Because everyone kind of does it from there. These would probably be people who have already done their research, people who already know about it, fund managers, people like Kathy Wood, right? So these are fund managers who already know about it, or it could just be, you know.
So you think the fund managers are the ones buying into it rather than the average person? Is there any sort of research done on this?
So I read an article recently that so Franklin Templeton, they're a fund manager in the US, and they manage over $1.5 trillion worth of assets.
Yeah.
So in some of their existing ETFs that they have, they're allocating a percentage of that into the Bitcoin ETF, into their own Bitcoin ETF.
Yeah.
So if they're managing 1.5 trillion, let's say you take, I don't know, 10% of that, what would that be? 150
It's more money than I have.
billion.
Yeah.
Right? So 150 billion, let's say you take a portion of that. So 10% of that is 150 billion. If you were to take, I don't know, 3% of 150 billion,
Yeah.
what would that be?
No, I know, but that's institutional investment. Sorry, that's institutional.
Yeah,
investment,
so-
right. What about the average guy?
So the average guy, I think that's where it will, well, that's what he said, right? That's where therein lies the opportunity, right? Because what's going to happen is, so now these institutions, they are loading up the banks with Bitcoin or Bitcoin ETFs. What they might do is they will have an army of agents, right?
Yeah.
You know, like a financial planner, and like, hey Chuck, how are you? Hey, long time no see. Hey, come, let's do dinner, right? Yeah, I'll buy you a steak dinner, right? So over steak dinner. Hey, so how's your portfolio doing, Chuck?
Your financial advisor buys you a steak dinner. Wow. How much you got in unit trust?
Okay, 飲茶。Alright, fine, data rate. Okay. So Cha, how's your portfolio doing?
Huh?
So what exposure have you got? Have you heard of this new thing that got approved called Bitcoin ETFs? I think you should maybe allocate a small percentage. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. You look at the price. So these conversations are gonna happen
When these
when
conversations
they.
happen, this is what Malaysians see, you know. This one.
But these are licensed financial planners, you know,
FTX was licensed too.
Well, in Bahamas,
in the Bahamas. Yeah.
so
yeah.
Kind of, there is a kind of a difference here.
So wait, FTX never got SEC approval or any other sort of.
Nope.
No.
Bahamas,
In the Bahamas.
the SEC of the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
But in the mind's eye to the average consumer, it looked so legit, right?
Well,
Like,
it's not.
Did you guys have concerns about FTX before it went under?
I think not specifically FTX per se.
Yeah.
All platforms, because none of these major jurisdictions are crypto friendly.
Yeah.
So all these crypto guys only have to operate in this tier 4, tier 5 kind of jurisdiction.
Alternate channels.
Yeah, because there's no it took so long, right? Like, only this year got Bitcoin approved. It was the first Genesis block was 2009.
Yeah.
How many years has it been? 2024 this year. 15 years, you know. So we always know that legal or infrastructure legal always plays catch up to innovation. Always.
Yeah.
Right? Before the car was invented, there was no driving license. Like, you can't wait until driving license, then there's a car, right? Doesn't matter. Doesn't work that way, right? So that's.
But you have to
that's
see
how
mainstream adoption. That's where my argument is that.
So this is still Bitcoin is an adoption play, lah. It's purely an adoption play.
So why if no one adopts it?
I think it's the reverse, right? Now we're seeing, like 5 years ago, more people are warmer to Bitcoin than
Correct.
today.
Correct.
And if you go back 5 years before that, 5 years after that, more people had adopted crypto than 5 years before that. So it's all come down, and empirically you can look at if no one adopted it, there'll probably be 5,000 Bitcoin addresses.
Okay, so what Bitcoin has going for it is its scarcity, but there's so many other cryptos that have no scarcity built in.
Right.
Yep.
So then what? Are those still worth buying or?
Well, you don't have ETFs for those ones right now.
Right.
So that means the normies don't have access to it.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, going back to the example of the financial planner, right, or your unit trust agent, right?
The one that buys you steak, lah. Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any unit trusts?
I used to.
Okay, so
Took them all out already.
Took them all out. Okay.
I took them all out before I thought pandemic come. All the stocks going down. I took it all out. Then I was like, it's wow.
Okay, so just to give you an idea, I just Googled this. Since 2009, there are right now 416 million Bitcoin addresses.
Okay.
So we can't say there's no adoption, right? Of which 172 million wallet addresses are relevant, of which the active ones are 27 million addresses that hold Bitcoin.
But has the active addresses gone down or up in the last?
Up lah, it started from zero.
In the last 5 years.
It went up.
It's actually increased now. The amount of.
Where are all these people? How do?
I mean, someone who's got 25 Bitcoin will tell you, hey, bro, I got 25 Bitcoin.
Actually, I know they do announce it to the world. They announce it on YouTube. Hey, Dato, you know.
Okay, that one I'm not sure whether they actually have Bitcoin. But I mean, I guess the people that
Okay,
it's
so
anonymous.
I understand that both of you are crypto supporters and that you both have significant investments in crypto as well. What would you tell the average Malaysian that thinks this? You know, my uncle got conned from crypto. We hear so many stories nowadays.
Scams, right, can appear in many shapes and form. These guys just chose to use crypto as the shape and form for this scam. It could be, I don't know, durian farms or
Tulips.
tulips. It can be
Very old school.
The
original Bitcoin, right?
No, that's not the original Bitcoin.
Oh, Bitcoin's not exactly perishable, but
Tulips. Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Wiki that. Tulips, very interesting. Yeah, sorry, go on.
yeah. So I think yes, this sheds a bad light on crypto because the scammers happen. They use crypto to scam, so-called investors.
Okay, let's go to this. You did a video recently that you said that everyone can have $1 million by starting with 50,000 and then putting in 1,000 ringgit a month, and then seeing 8 to 9% returns every year. You can reach $1 million within how long?
20 years.
20 years. This is on your TikTok, right?
Yeah.
So, how likely is it that someone can get 8 to 9% every year for 20 years?
Long term, I guess the most simple one, of course, Bitcoin would have gotten you that easily.
Yeah, but that's historically.
Of course, historically.
Hindsight is always 20/20.
Yeah. So okay. So we don't look at the asset per se, like specific. If you look at an index, which is a basket of stocks, the S&P has given you that.
Yeah.
Right. Property, I think in some areas would have given you that as well.
But not anymore, right?
No,
8 to 10%
areas are. No, well, it's not every year, right? So when you buy this year and you sell it that year, what is that compounded return, right?
Yeah.
Okay, plus your costs and everything else. I think even some commodities may have given that to you in the last 5 years, right? So it's not impossible. Look, if say you can't get 9%, let's say we try and target for 7, right? Either you put in more money every month, or you wait longer, But it's not impossible. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not impossible,
Okay.
right?
So you're not saying it's likely, but you're saying it's not unlikely.
I think it's quite highly. It's very possible, if you're disciplined, that's all. I won't say it's not impossible. It's not. No way. It's close to impossible, right?
Okay.
Like you can do it EPF today.
5 to 6%.
Correct. You put more every month. Every month you put more.
That's the next question. And this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So just redeemed my unit trust last week, put back into ETF because in the last 7 years he got negative 30K. At 6% dividend, his 150K could have generated another 100K. Oh man, I feel for you, man, SPJ. So theoretically, he lost 130K. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
I think you need to know why you lost money first,
How many unit trusts did you lose money over 7 years?
Okay, so I got the stats for the last 5 years.
Like with you right now.
With me right now, unit trust funds, the last 5 years with a 5-year track record, are negative or underperform EPF. It's 87%.
Okay, so underperform EPF is 5 to 6%, around there, right?
5.65 on average.
Okay.
So 87% of unit trust funds in the last 5 years, 2003 or minus 5 years, has underperformed EPF. 87% of.
So basically, your chances of getting a better return. Okay, so basically, anybody who withdraws EPF to put into unit trust has only a 13% chance of that being a good decision.
In a way, yes, but I also haven't factored in the sales fee. So if they pay the sales fee, 1.5 or 3% or 4% or 5%,
yeah,
I think that number probably gets closer to probably 99%. Yeah.
Next question. How and where to buy dividends? Because you guys been talking about dividends so much on your TikTok, right? So, hey, where can we get these dividends?
Well, if I wanted to be a scammer like the one you showed, I could create a coin called dividends, DBND tokens, which continues to give you out lots of DBND tokens. Then you can buy it from me.
Next crypto data already. Next crypto data already.
Just want to clarify, dividend is if you have bought a company and it makes a profit, it pays its shareholders a dividend. So you don't actually buy dividends, you buy the stock or you buy the company. Okay, that's all we have time for today. We had a lot of fun doing this. Thank you for participating in Borang Persa. If you guys have any questions, please put it in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And any questions that you post in the comments may appear in our next video.